Welcome everyone. Today we will be replacing the brake handle on an Apollo City. This is the same process for the City 22 and the 23 version. So it doesn't matter whether you have the 2023, the 2022, or whether you have a Pro or a base variant. It's the same process for all four. To complete this repair, the tools you will need are a Phillips head screwdriver, a pair of flush cutters, some electrical tape, 5mm Allen key, 3mm Allen key, and a 2mm Allen key. The first thing we're going to need to do is disconnect the electronics connected to the display here. So we're going to need to open up 2 screws from the bottom, pop open the display, and disconnect all the cables. So we've freed the 2 screws in the front, and next is removing the set screw or the grub screw on the opposite side of the handlebar assembly to free the display entirely. You're going to use a 2mm Allen key for that. And you don't need to remove the Allen key all the way, you just need to make sure it is loose and not holding on to the display anymore. After that, you can take that same Allen key and just gently poke up from the front screws and pop up the display to free it. This will give you access to all the wiring here, which we need to disconnect. From each side of the handlebar, there will be 3 bunches of cables coming out. One will be for the light, the turn signal light, one is for the brake lever, and the other is the throttle that has 2 connectors. We are replacing the brake lever right now, so this is the one we need to cut the shrink wrap and remove the connection. So now we're removing the handle grip to give us access to free the brake handle. So I'm going to loosen the screws on the grip using a 3mm Allen key. I'm going to pull the grip towards the center, and that should allow access. The small set screw here is what we're trying to free, so we can uninstall the turn signal light at the end. So using a 2mm Allen key, I'm just going to get it in there and unscrew this. This does need to come out almost completely for us to pull out the light. With the light, you should have a connector. You can unclip that. So I am going to remove this set screw completely, and that will allow us to pull the handlebar grip off. So the next step is going to be to disconnect the brake line from the brake handle so we can freely remove the brake handle and install a new one on. To do that, you need to make sure the channels here lined up. When you receive your screwdriver, it should be something like this. You won't be able to physically remove it. There's 2 threaded pieces here, each with a channel. Once they're lined up, you should be able to pull and free it. Right, now I can free it. If you are in a situation where you're not able to free it, see I'm having trouble getting this back on now. All that needs to happen is you need to loosen your drum brakes at the wheels. So right now we're working on the front brake lever. So I'm going to loosen the front drum brake to give us a bit more slack to play with. Here we're at the front wheel. To loosen the drum brake, all we need to do is rotate this piece counterclockwise 3 or 4 times to give us some slack. Depending on how tight the brake line is, you may need more, you may need less. Very easy to do, and that should give me plenty of slack up top to free the brake line. Now that there's plenty of slack, we should have no problem releasing this. This should just pop out the bottom, and then it's completely free. The final step in uninstalling the original brake handle will be to loosen this screw on the bottom of it using a 5mm Allen key. The final step before removing it is this plastic piece here for the water resistance. We can just take almost anything and start to slide that right out. Once you have the back of it, it should push out without much issue. Looks like this. And then the brake lever should slide out no problem. Might need to wiggle the wire a bit because it's tight in the channel and the connectors sometimes get caught on the sides. What you can do if that happens is take a 3mm Allen key, loosen up this throttle and give yourself some more slack so you can see what's going on with it, and I can see the connector here wiggling back and forth. So I'm just gonna give that a gentle push, and here it comes. So now we have the brake handle removed. So now we're putting a new brake handle back on the scooter. For video purposes, I am reusing the exact same brake handle, but for repair purposes, you will have a new brake handle. So it's the same process of taking it off. We're just fitting this piece through. And once you see it kind of come through there, in, and now I have the connector inside here. We're going to plug it back into this red connector, just like that. So we've put the connector back together. You'll remember we cut the shrink wrap in order to get to it. If you don't have shrink wrap to re-put on there, that's no problem. You can use any old electrical tape. This just keeps the connection secure and keeps any moisture away from the connectors. Now we can start following our process in reverse. So we're going to put the brake line back into the lever. So we're going to put this little tab out from the bottom, put the metal in there, make sure the channels are lined up, pull until it seats in, make sure these are tight and that it's not possible for it to escape again. Then I will grab a 5mm Allen key to retighten the brake lever. If you loosened the front drum brake in order to get some more slack to remove the line, you will likely need to retighten that drum brake, just turning it the opposite direction of how you loosened it. So now we're putting this rubber stopper back inside this channel in the handlebars, and it's just a matter of pressing it in and making sure it's sealing that hole. So the next thing we're going to do is just put the grip back on. It should slide easily over top. Before we tighten it, we will then take the turn signal light, reconnect it, of course. And this is another piece that can do with electrical tape to make sure that connection is strong and secure. You're going to push it right up to the end where you can't push it anymore. Then we're going to put that small little set screw in to secure this turn signal light onto the handlebars. So we're installing this set screw, already resting on my Allen key, into this hole. Just going to get it in there. It's a little tight. And you should feel it securing the light so it can't be removed anymore. You can slide the grip back so it covers that gap, and then we just need to tighten it with our 3mm Allen key. Okay, now the only steps remaining is to re-secure the display back into the handlebar assembly. But before I do that, I'm going to turn the scooter on and make sure every component we played with is working properly. So I'm going to make sure that this turn signal light is still flashing when I turn on my right turn indicator, and I'm going to make sure the brake light is still turning on when I pull this brake lever. So I'm going to turn on the scooter, turn on the right turn signal. No problem, it's working great. And I'm going to pull this brake lever, just checking the brake light, and it is working as it is supposed to. So the final step is to put the display back in. Sometimes you may need to twist the display to sort of gather the cables together and make sure they're clear of the two holes here where the screws will come into. Push them down. It won't stay down until you've actually installed the hardware, so don't fret about that. First thing I'm going to do, take my Phillips head screwdriver and the two screws I removed earlier. Don't turn too hard here. You don't want to torque the screws too much because the housing for the display is plastic, so it is possible to over torque and damage the posts. The final step is just to make sure your display is nice and flush and tighten it up with a 2mm Allen key, same as before. You don't need to over tighten, it's just plastic housing. This is just to make sure it's seated properly. And that's the end of replacing the brake lever on an Apollo City.